Now with Nadine.
Today we have Katrina Barrett in studio, a real estate powerhouse making waves nationwide. Dubbed the #1 realtor in Arizona and one of the top in the country, Katrina is the epitome of hustle and success. We're diving in to discover the woman behind the drive. And Katrina, you're also my dearest friend, but what an introduction. Like, how do you feel when you hear someone saying #1?
Embarrassed.
Oh, stop. You know, the thing about Katrina is we've known each other for, well, how old is our oldest child?
11.
11, yes. So our oldest kids are both 11.
I didn't prep for that question.
I know, neither did I. That's the one I'm like, that's why I asked you. We both have 3 boys, and we met at a friend's son's party, remember?
Yes.
And you just embraced me, and I said, I need to find my son a preschool. You got my son in the preschool. Like, you just do things for other people.
I like a good working girl.
You like a good working girl. Yes, you do. I mean, and you take care of your people too.
Yes.
Kind of do an introduction about yourself and what you're doing now, and then we're going to backtrack a million years and start from the beginning.
Sure. I am the owner of Walt Danley Local Luxury, Christie's International Real Estate here in Arizona. It started as just local or local board. I don't know how we
I remember that. Local board.
Why did we have that name? It's
I like
awful.
it.
Sounds like a municipality. I don't know. Like, very confusing. We would get calls about like city ordinances too. So really that was a marketing misstep. But either way, our focus was really on the local community, which I grew up in Arizona, and most of our agents were born and raised here, and that's really rare, especially now. Like, everyone's from somewhere else. So it doesn't mean necessarily that you're really more knowledgeable about real estate, because anyone can dive in and really get educated. But, you know, there's you want to take care of your state.
And you do. And, you know, a little bit about where you're at now before we really dive into your story. You know, you really are dubbed the #1 realtor in the state. And that's according to local and statewide statistics.
It's embarrassing, but yes. I haven't really ever judged myself based on, you know, against others' performance. Kind of similar to when I was like swimming. Like, it's me versus me. It's not really me versus everyone else. So I could be first or I could be 10th. And if I had a good year, it's a good year. This year is kind of crazy. We really put our head down, and already in the month of January, we've written half of what we did all last year.
That's insane.
Which is kind of crazy. We'd have to fall on our face to not have a massive year this year. But it just all kind of, the ball rolls all at once, and people get on and off the bench at the same time, and migrations happen, and you kind of have to run when the market's running and rest when it's not. Last summer, it was like a month where I was really pretty dead, and I was very happy to have a catch-up moment to be proactive instead of reactive.
And I want to talk about where you're at now, and obviously you took over Walt Danley, which was huge. But let's start from the beginning, because you did say you grew up in Arizona and you were a big swimmer.
Yes, I grew up in Tucson, Arizona. I went and swam for the University of Miami. I told my parents I wanted to wear a suit every day and work in a big building in a city and be nothing like them, because Tucson's like kind of podunk and a little slow, and I love it. Good people, very, very sweet people. But I just felt like, I want to do something so different. So I dove in and started in finance. I raised a lot of money when I was like 25. I also started, looking back, I don't know where I had the energy, but I started a captive insurance program, which kind of caught all the clients. And on the side, I was flipping, and clients took notice of the flipping. And because I was securities regulated, I couldn't raise money in real estate. So I kind of took the route of teach a man to fish. Like, hey, this is working for me. Why don't I teach you how to do it too? Let's jump in the car. Let's go shopping. Let's see what has high bones, good floor plans, et cetera, that you can just make pretty and rinse and repeat. So by 2017, not being a realtor, really, I mean, I had my license, I sold 40 homes, and my mom was my broker at the time, and she was like, all right, you need to join an actual agency. You're too big for me, which is funny in hindsight. 40 is like not that many homes. But I went and interviewed at a lot of the companies, and I felt like they were sales organizations. And I didn't really understand that because I was coming more from like the business world of like, where's the attorneys? Where's everyone who's normally involved in a business? Like, you don't have an accountant, you don't have a marketing division, you don't have an attorney. Like, this doesn't make sense. So I thought the only way to really create that is to do it myself. And I really came into real estate like really not knowing. I'd never been in a real estate office. So like when I first started Files, I was using all the businessy things like box.net,
Right.
like things you don't store paperwork in for real estate. But I had a really good associate broker, and he taught me a lot as well. And he's still with us today, Roland. He's fabulous. So lucky to have him. He's remote now. I wish he was here, but yeah, we built it from really 7 friends at a dinner deciding they wanted to buy purses on their own, to what it is today, which is, while Danley and Christie's behind it and having to fire 100 agents last year, which was like the most painful thing we've ever done. If you want to feel good about yourself, don't go fire 100 people. That's a rough year.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. But even back up a little, you said you were 25 years old in finance. I know you had a lot of high-profile clients. I mean, that's young to be doing so much. Where did you find that in yourself?
It's funny because I look backwards and I don't know where I had the balls, to be honest.
Right.
Like, I feel like I have analysis paralysis now as I get older. And when I meet people with substantial wealth, my true advice is invest in yourself, invest in your business, and use your investing, so to speak, to just get the guarantees. Especially right now, CDs are 5 to 6% on the 1 to 2 year. Like, you don't need to compound your money more than that if you have big assets. Take those risks in things that you can control. Don't trust others to do it, and just grow the nest egg. So
it's funny, like, look, it's always like what you wish you knew then. Like, what would you tell your younger self at that time in your life?
if I knew that the Great Recession would really propel from 2008 all the way till now and just be a straight upward trend ride, I would have said buy everything that you have a penny for. Literally, buy everything. Tech, buy everything. I mean, throw me out the window for Bitcoin, I guess everyone.
I still don't get it. I don't know.
By the way, that is an unregulated security. It could go to zero on any day. So, like,
and will you do it? Will you?
No. When people call me and ask, I'm like, no,
don't
no.
Do it.
And the older I get, the less risk averse I become. Like, I like to touch it, feel it, be able to. I like things that I can put myself and human capital into to move the ball forward, over, banking on others, I guess.
I know. Okay, so 25 years old in finance, then you break into real estate, which you're brokering 40 homes under your mom, and then you start local board.
Yeah. I really don't know where I had the energy for that one.
Where did you wake up? I mean, I know.
By the way, I was giving birth to a third child.
A third boy. Let's talk. We're going to get into that.
I didn't even have a nanny yet. Do you know? I didn't. So I only had Soleil.
Physically, we had our preschool, which was a godsend.
I drove around all day with pumps on me. I literally couldn't get ahead on the pumping. So oftentimes I'd have to stop into preschool 2 and 3 times a day. I didn't do formula. I did a whole year of breastfeeding on each of them. I stayed up all night breastfeeding to catch up. These poor kids were starving during the day.
I remember only feeding my third in the middle of the night. It's the only time I had time.
Yeah. They just ate all night, and then every day when I'd pick them up, they'd be like, "They slept so well." I'm like, "Fuck you." I don't know if we can say that here.
No, we can. And luckily for you, they slept. Thanks very much, because now they'll be up forever. I mean, there's no. And I say this because I we're always out in the community, Katrina, and whenever our names cross, there is no other human that I think works harder and smarter and more purely than you. And I physically don't understand how you do it. And we haven't even dove into your schedule and your life now, which is absolute insanity. I mean, you were sick last week and you just skipped one showing and then you were back at it the next morning. How do you do it? How?
I think I actually really didn't build the best business, if I'm going to critique myself.
What do you mean?
I I built a business that doesn't operate without myself in it. And that's a problem. Like, there's only one of you. I think this year I have to take a hard evaluation on actually firing clients because there's only one of me. Like,
How many people work under you, though? How many people do you have?
So presently we have 66 agents. And then on my team, I have 2 showing agents, 2 attorneys, and a marketing team of 6.
And that's your team alone.
That's my team alone. Yeah. I changed my model last year drastically to take on all the risk, all the overhead. Like, everyone is getting paid, whether I get paid $1. And that shift was worth it because the clients are better served. And it's scary. Like, to really, really raise your overhead is scary. If we had a 6-month dry spell, things would go backwards really fast. But honestly, since we've done it, we've only propelled forward in leaps and bounds every single month. And not necessarily during a hot market. Last year was a not hot market, and we had a breakout year. I actually feel like running harder, faster, marketing more during downtimes
Absolutely.
is where you pick up and get ahead.
And people really don't understand it. Sometimes they're like, I'm slow. I can't invest in marketing. I can't do marketing. This isn't the time for me.
Double down.
That is when you double down. And then you just never stop because the person next door will be doing it.
Right.
I want to ask you a lot about what you're doing now, but let's go back again just a little bit. Talk to me about the whole Christie's and Walt Danley thing, because you started out as the local board, which is what you created.
Right.
And then you took on.
So
how did that work out?
Yeah. It's actually interesting. We were approached by another very high profile company, and we were about to like merge, or I was going to purchase their Arizona office. And I think Walt caught wind of that.
And who is Walt for people who don't know?
Walt Danley was the biggest broker in Paradise Valley for 40 years.
40 years.
40 years. He is a legend. Even though everyone calls him Walt Disney, they still call me like, Katrina owns Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
I'm like, I have nothing to do with Walt Disney.
It
but
sounds really good. I mean, we could add it to the resume. Why not?
Thank you. No, I mean, Walt is a character larger than life. He looks like the Monopoly man. He drives fast cars, usually convertibles, usually Porsches, and really expensive cars. And I mean, he was a walking legend for a long, long time. And I've always respected him, and I still love him. But I think he had already gotten to a point where he was giving a lot of his business away.
Sure.
And it's funny. Only 2 years ago, I was in my mind, I was like, what an idiot to be 50-50ing so many things. And now flash forward, I'm 50-50ing so many things. So I get it. You get to a point where you can't do it all. You literally cannot do it all. And you have to pick and choose the clients who value you and are worth the time. And everything else doesn't matter, because whoever you take in, you are going to get to a finish line and give them the best experience they've ever had, truly. And if you can't do that, don't take them on.
And so how did you acquire Walt?
So Walt approached me right when I was kind of investigating the other opportunity, and I got whisked away because he had to do it very quickly. It was like an option that was on the table for speed. So I flew to Chicago. I was really impressed by the Christie's people. I had made him an offer to only buy him and not to buy Christie's with it. And they were like, no. That's the wrong avenue. You need to go to Christie's. Boy, was I wrong. Christie's that was the answer. I didn't know. Even at the time I was signing the deal,
Did you have a pit in your stomach? Were you nervous?
I was like,
so
what? We're paying them all this money and continuing to pay them all this money, and I'm paying them more than 2 employees' salary, like off my. What am I doing? No, per year, like now, still, even after writing the huge check, because there's a royalty, and I was like, none of this makes sense. Me spending my own marketing is going to make so much more sense. I was wrong. The network of people is what you are buying, and it is priceless. And I'm such a convert. Like now I actually am like, how can I dig in at Christie's to help them get a better network? Like I see things in the channels that I could help them with or improve, etc. And the global network thing, it's like so real. Like I went on a trip to St. Bart's this summer, and one of the gentlemen on our trip was like, "Oh, I'd love to buy this home that we're staying in." It was an $80 million home, mind
Must
you.
be nice.
And by the way, the entire island, every sign was Christie's. So what does that take? Just a phone call to the listing agent, and they couldn't wait to meet us at the office. And when I go to Cabo on vacation, someone on our trip always wants to buy, and we can sell in Cabo. We can sell anywhere that
And
Christie's
are you
is.
doing that?
I am flying to Texas frequently. I am flying to Utah is like kind of going to be my home base for the summer now.
Like where?
So really
City?
there, Park City. It's Talisker Club, it's Promontory, and it's Victory Ranch. Outside of those, they don't really exist. Kind of like Flagstaff, it's like Pine Canyon, Forest Highlands.
Sure.
Don't have to be an expert in everything else, but you have to be a damn expert at everything in the gates.
Are you enjoying this whole national opportunity?
Absolutely. Like, even just a little change of scenery is amazing. But here's the reality for Arizona. June, July, August is almost unlivable here. I actually love it. I'm a Tucson girl.
I can't. It's still unlivable for me.
So everyone leaves and money leaves. So the reality is, if you're going to keep up a big business in the summer, you got to go where the people go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And where are the people going?
And it was really between Coronado
I know
and
you're
Park
gonna say
City.
that. Yeah, Coronado, Park City.
Yeah.
I think there's a mass exodus outside of Coronado. I mean, I lived in San Diego, nothing more beautiful, but people aren't even allowed to go in the water over there. That's another story.
California is falling apart.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. You have seen a lot of success in recent years, Katrina. What you've done is just unbelievable. And I do want to talk about your success. But before we go there, you said you had to fire 100 people last year.
Okay, so when I acquired Walt, we took on a bunch of agents. A ton of agents were involved in the merger. And I had never really let anyone into our little protected
your little
bubble.
family.
Yeah, we had a family.
And you handpicked everyone.
It was my friends. It was like, honestly, my business sense was hire people who love you and won't sue you. And I would never sue them. And I love them and trust them. And I give people so much credit up front. Like, here's the office. Here's the, take the keys. Like, I feel like if you give people more trust than they deserve, they rise to the occasion. That is my theory.
That's a lovely philosophy.
It is. And you know what? It hasn't burned me much.
Really?
It really hasn't. And still to this day, I really think if you give someone power and a platform and trust, they'll usually
It's very
surprise
refreshing
you.
to hear.
But anyways, we acquired a lot of agents, and I remember a couple conversations specifically. Like, I had one older gal. I met with each individual agent.
Every single one.
This took a month. And each one was so angry at Walt for not saying about the merger, and he couldn't.
He couldn't.
Christie's is a huge company. He signed an NDA that he wouldn't say anything. This was not a Walt problem. This was not a Walt problem. And I met with each agent, and the rudeness and I mean, it was wild. The anger was misdirected, but it came at me, and people were questioning what kind of a mom I am. And one person told me I was broke, and I was just so confused. I was like, where are we getting in from? I just bought this company. Like,
and they're saying this to you.
Correct. And the reality is, we had to assess, if you haven't sold a home in 2 years, do you belong at a luxury brokerage that pays for everything for you? We charge our agents $0. $0. So every marketing event, every lunch, every dinner, every Christmas party, I have zero dust fees. Zero. They only play a split when they perform, and we are some of the lowest splits in the Valley. And to deserve that, you have to, at a minimum, we set a standard now, be selling 10 million, which is like
have to work
2 houses in
you
Paradise
gotta
Valley
work
per year, and in the luxury space. Look, we're not the fit for volume in Mesa.
Right.
There are other brokerages that serve you better. We're not a training brokerage.
No.
We are for the middle to high end broker to get better. I get 100 DMs a day, not kidding, of new agents.
Please
who want to be my assistant. And I'm like, do you know how long the line is internally? Love you, but there is no shot. Like, first you have to go prove yourself. Then we can talk about it. I will say, my 2 assistants now, or partners, I would call them, Haley and Lauren, are an absolute gift.
But you have created a team that you trust. And something about you, Katrina, is you treat your team very well. They are loved. They feel your love and you care about them.
My love language is gift giving. For sure.
And that's okay. But even still in your demeanor, they know you care for them.
Kate, I care about the most. She completes my sentences, and I would be lost without her.
And who is Kate?
Kate is my paperwork attorney.
Kate
and I
is
don't
your
even.
paperwork attorney.
We get off a joint call, and I don't even have to say a thing. She already knows what I'm thinking, and she's doing.
That's amazing.
I mean, priceless, literally.
And your brokers are obviously extremely top tier, so tailored, but that's also because you have incredible clients. I don't know how much you can dive into the caliber of clients you have, but I'll let you take the mic and talk about it.
I'm going to back up 1 second to the firing of agents.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're still there.
Because I have a funny story.
Okay.
So in the middle of firing these agents,
these angry agents,
I met the owner or manager or someone very high up at Whisper Rock at an event. And he said, Katrina, you're going about this all wrong because they're hating you on exit. What you have to do is say, Larry Fitzgerald walked into Whisper Rock and he wanted to write a $500,000 check to join. And we said, sir, what is your handicap? And he said, 30. And they said, well, we have 18, as a barrier to entry, but we'd love to take your check as soon as you can get there. 2 years passed, Larry walks in. They said, sir, what's your handicap? He said, 9. And they said, fabulous, you're in. And he said, that's the chat you need to give everyone.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And good for Larry for leaving and walking back in when he was.
I thought it was the best chat anyone could ever give. And so I changed kind of the mode of how we were letting people go of like, show me you can do it. Go learn. Like, no one ever taught me anything. So I was so confused why people are not Googling, using books, researching themselves. Like, they want it to be spoon-fed. And this is a problem. I enabled our earliest agents, for sure. This is a problem. But you have to have it inside of you. You have to care. You do.
I agree.
And if you don't, we're not the right place. But if you can dig in and care, then the door is wide open. So the story of the firing agents, it was the worst 6 months of my life. People are so mean on leaving. So mean. Say, I'm like, you don't know me from anyone. And it's not against you, but if you haven't sold a house in 2 years, are you a realtor?
Are you a realtor?
Are you a realtor? So anyways, 6 months passes. Towards the end of last year, it was like the seas parted. The apology tour was unbelievable. 6 months later, after the meanest text I've literally ever received in my life, I was like afraid to go public places. People were so mean, agent-wise. And towards the end of last year, so many hugs, so many I'm sorry, so many I didn't realize what we had until I left. And it was just like full circle. And it like gave me the strength to...
I mean, what a roller coaster for you.
Yes.
Because I'm sure during those 6 months, it took a toll on you emotionally.
100%. And the reality is our team had to look and evaluate, and our time is not better spent training agents.
No.
Our time is better spent giving our clients every minute. And my biggest like hatred in life is clients that will only get on the phone, because every hour I'm spending on the phone is an hour I'm not marketing, not finding a new client. Like, my time is better working.
Right.
And I got a lot of critiques last year too. I'm such a doer that I don't stop to tell someone what we're doing. Like, I'm spending a boatload on their marketing, but they like someone else better because that other person gets on the phone with them to talk for an hour about one post that they made for them.
And that's 1 hour where you could be
correct.
I'm like
working.
I'm working.
You know what? I'm going to bring you the offer.
Right.
Like,
and you do.
Let me make the baby.
And plus, and you do that good too. And like, people, first of all, going back to what you said, so many people don't know how to work anymore.
Correct.
They're married to a 9 to 5, which is really like a 10 to 4. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to respond. And you just have an expectation now.
Okay, there's a note there too. So a lot of agents are like, I have to set boundaries. I can't pick up the phone after 6. I can't. Are you kidding? If I have my listing with an agent, they better be answering the phone, number one, and working around the freaking clock.
Around the clock. That's your job.
That is what you are hired for. And I tell my agents this all the time. Be the agent you would hire. If you wouldn't hire yourself, if there's an agent who you would hire over yourself, then you're not the best agent yet. So put your head down and be that agent. Be the agent that you would hire. And I really, truly feel that. Like, if a client comes to me, I feel there is no one else who is going to work harder for them. And I know that. And that was something conflicting in my financial practice. I feel like I'm giving people great advice, but I feel like there might be a bigger, badder financial advisor. And in real estate, I'm like, no, there is no one else in the Valley that I feel can deliver better for you. Truly. I believe that. I know that. And I will work every minute tirelessly to show them that. Yes.
And that's something else. And I do want to talk about work-life balance in a little bit. And I do want to talk about advice, but it made me think of a question. I know I'm as we sit here, I'm really trying to figure out where this comes from, but I feel like you and I are different. Like you either have a hustle or you don't have a hustle. You either live, breathe, and sleep it, or you just don't. I always say, some people get their high off of Pilates. I wish I did. I don't. I get my high off creativity. I get my high off being busy. I'm better busy. For you, was there a defining moment that made you become this person you are? Is there a person? Is there a mentor? What is it? What do you attribute this hustle to inside of you? Because really, that's where it's coming from, Katrina. You have it in you.
I think distance swimming was like a good backbone to life of like, hi, let me stare at the bottom of a pool for 8 hours and do something I don't necessarily love.
So why'd you do it?
So you do a lot of things just because you're good at it. And at the end, being number one, it feels good, in swimming. So if you put your head down, even if you hate it, there's 30 seconds where you want to race and that feels good. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I sometimes look back and wonder why I did it. I was a big parent pleaser. Like my parents liked seeing me swim.
Now, I just asked you a question and look at what you're answering. You are attributing something and something that you wouldn't even think about at that time and how it's impacted your career. Do you still swim?
No. I was asked one time by Jeff Berghoff and a client to come swim at 5 a.m. at the Village, at Arizona Country Club. It was the strangest thing. I didn't even own a gear bag or a swimsuit anymore, and I went out and bought them, met in the parking lot at 4:45, felt like I was doing something wrong, like we were like breaking in or something. We got to the pool. They posted a workout. We swam for a whole hour. I hadn't swam in 20 years, not
20
kidding.
years.
I actually did great.
Of course you did.
I didn't bank on that, to be honest. I thought I was going to be a little rustier than I was. We didn't say a word during the workout. The two gentlemen got out at the end, shook my hand, and they said, wow, you really were a swimmer. That was it. That was it.
Proven.
Literally.
And then did they hire you?
It was very strange. We didn't even really talk
And have
after.
you swam since?
No.
That's
But endurance sports, I need them for mentally. I think once you do so many hours of workout, it's so hard to take that out of your life. And I've really been putting a focus on that already this year. I've run 62 miles, so
that's incredible.
Yeah, but it's not for anything other than mental. But I'm in this freaking.
Do you enjoy it?
I'm in this orange cheer theory challenge.
Can you tell me to run? I don't like running, but I know it would be very good and useful for me. But you have passed on the gift of swimming to your children.
Oh no, they're sinkers. They're not swimmers.
Okay. But I thought they swam.
I'm going to tell you, Cammy would be a freaking Olympian, but he doesn't like it. And the other two, big hips. No.
But they did for a little bit.
You have to have very small hips, large shoulders. That's a swimmer. The first two, no. Cammy's got the total swimmer body and is going to be so big and long and lean, and he doesn't like it. He likes to crush skulls in football. So.
Yes. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about kids. We're going to talk about momming. Clients that you have now, your caliber of clients. I mean, you've worked, I don't know if you're allowed to name drop, but you've worked with everything from professional athletes to celebrities because the market here is so hot.
We've really gotten into the billionaire circle.
You really are.
Yeah.
And is this someone's first home, second home, 10th home?
10th home. Yeah. That is a true gift. And the most important part of working in that circle is not talking. That's why it took me so long to do any marketing, if I'm being honest, is that I felt like I was a model match for my clients. I just wouldn't talk, never heard of them, never, you just go do the thing and pretend like it never happened. Like, and I think I'm really, really good at that. Like, just never happened. Here we go. On to the next. No one, and that's what they value the most, not talking.
Absolutely.
And so to me, when I started marketing more, I was like crossing boundaries, and I felt like, ugh, this is uncomfortable. I don't like putting myself out there. I don't like putting clients' things out there. Come to find out, clients freaking love their houses on the gram.
Yes, they do.
And little did I know, in fact, a very smart marketing guru, Scott Harkey, was the one who told me, you don't exist until it's on the, it isn't real until it's on the gram.
Non-existent.
So he's like, you could be as big as you want to be, but until someone on the gram knows, then it's fake. And he was like, perception is reality. All these other people out there saying, you know, I've sold this, I've sold that. He goes, Kat, they're winning because they're posting. Truly, like you gotta put your head down and do it. And I will say, I was an idiot. I hadn't posted or done really any form of marketing until last year, and the wave is from that, 100%. Like, yeah.
I mean, so if you go into Katrina's Instagram, which we'll tease later, you're doing, I don't know how you physically have the time to do all this, but you do tours, you know, you bring people into the houses. And these aren't just neighborhood houses. I mean, these are insane mansions.
As my internal film crew will say, we are queens of the first take club. Yeah, we don't have time. Like, you can't mess up. You go in. I'm in a house for like 10 minutes.
It's
doing
a first
those.
take.
They're there for 2 hours.
Yep.
I show up for 10 minutes between showings, like literally trying to like brush my hair in the car.
What is your typical day? Give me a day.
Okay, 4:30, wake up.
Oh gosh, what are you doing at 4:30?
I go to the gym at 5. If I don't get it in at 5, it's literally not happening. Okay. Literally not happening. Go home, get the kids up, get them showered, ready for school, drop them at school, and then I usually have a standing appointment at Root Bar. Love Root Bar. They're wonderful, but I can't do my hair. I don't know how to do it. I did it this morning. It looks like
beautiful.
Shit.
It looks beautiful.
I got the 8 a.m.
But
so
I
I'm
do.
here instead.
I do love a standing appointment.
Yeah. So I feel like that's like working girls' hours still.
Yeah.
Like everyone who's got like a serious job is like in there between 7 and 8 a.m. getting their hair done.
And not washing it for a week.
You go in with it dry and it's like 10 minutes to curl. So it's like a 10-minute in and out, and I'm off for the day, and I just feel like a better human when I do it. I also feel like there is a double-edged sword in luxury that my mom never dressed up, and she really taught me that looks don't matter, and that's a valuable thing for a mom to teach kids. She was a really high-level attorney and said, you want me for my brain or you don't want me at all, and I felt like that for a long time, and that's a good thing to instill in young girls. However, your house is aesthetic. It's beautiful, and when you hire a realtor, you want your realtor to look like it's representing the house.
And it's also, you know, it's looks. Saying the word looks is one thing, but it's also about presentation.
Right.
And you feel better about yourself.
Right. So, like, the throw pillow on the couch matters. So does the jacket the realtor wears. It
Absolutely.
sucks, but it's real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So then you do how many showings a day?
So I would say right after Root Bar, I'm running to the first one. I still have my financial practice, so I check in.
You still do?
Yes, I check in there first. That is
I'm
because I
exhausted.
have 70.
I'm gonna go home and sleep.
I have 70 to 80-year-old clients who don't want.
I know
they don't want to change their statement, and you know what? They're in CDs at this point, and that is something I can do for them, and usually don't even charge them. So I just want them happy. I had an opportunity 2 years ago to sell my financial practice for a big bucks, and I felt uncomfortable. I turned it down. I felt like I didn't deserve it. These are people I care so much about, and not something that I'm monetizing.
Yeah.
Yes, so that wasn't the goal. Like, money is not the driving force at all, and I want to serve these people to the end, and I love them, and these are the people I care about the most, so it's just not important. Then I jump into showings pretty much the rest of the day. And showings consist of buyer tours, which we usually go in a Sprinter van nowadays because you can give people such better attention.
Oh, fun. What a good idea.
You wouldn't even believe. The other night, we had 2 Californians in, and then I had this couple from Chicago and Illinois. we threw multiple people in the 9 to 12 million range in the bus at once.
Wow.
And I thought this could really backfire if they all like the same thing. And instead, they all went to Barrett Jackson together that night.
What a night. What a time to be alive. I mean,
Yeah.
you're unifying people, you're creating friendships, and you're finding them a home.
And the other funny thing is, oftentimes we do have 2 and 3 clients being this deep with clients bidding on the same home. You are far better off having one realtor bidding all of them, because we're not going to bid each other up. We're going to pause and have a conversation about it.
And also find an alternative for the other person that could be a better fit.
100%. Where some people are like, do I need to leave to another realtor? I'm like, no, because you're going to have ultimate transparency. Right. This guy is contingent. This guy is cash. Like, who wants to step up? And there's always someone who is like, oh, I was going to leverage him hard anyway. You take first pass. And then that kind of works out for the leverage hard guy if first pass drops out on their own. Right. So, yeah, it's always better. But anyways, the Sprinter van thing is really a thing. Like,
that's cool.
I joke I live van life now on the daily, but yeah, you jump in and it's someone different every day, and usually it's a very nice Mercedes van, and you take them to AJ's because I can't live a day without AJ's, and you know, show them the things. But you can crank through 9 or 10 where you're not trying to be in the driver's seat, and you can still be responding to clients. So I don't think clients get, like, every minute of the day is showing or working on texting people who could be showings for their houses. Right. So when they call for an hour, I'm taking everyone else's time, literally. Yeah. Like, it's not even that I don't want to talk, it's that I'm feeling guilty for every other person in my phone. Like, especially with builders, like, please, just text.
Just text.
Smells like a text.
I know.
Like, yes, if you have a $20 million house, let's jump on the phone. But if you are an ancillary trade, please respect the time and text me, please. Right. Like, it's all I can ask for. So, and then I have a certain handful of clients who like to talk after 10 p.m. and that's the same thing. I'm like, I'm so dead.
I'm tired.
Like, I'll do anything. I'll send you food and booze and whatever you want. Just not call me.
And you're tired.
I'm tired. Yes. Anyway, so usually we do the buyer tours a little earlier in the morning, and then for whatever reason, our listings get hit later in the afternoon. And the new California regime really likes night showings. Yeah. So for the 25 days so far in 2025, I've gotten home at 10 p.m. every night, because we've got 2, 3, 4 night showings a night, every night. Yeah.
Every night.
Every night.
I have so many questions, and I know that, you know, I'm just going to keep you until you say you have a listing to go leave for. But so how much, what was your biggest sale last year? How much, what are the prices here right now?
So we are closing in 4 days a $33.5 million. So that's exciting. We had a 23.7 in Arcadia last year.
In Arcadia.
So that's exciting. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, for our area,
no talkie.
We're not talkie. Okay, no talkie. We're not going to say who. It's definitely someone with a B, not an M, a billionaire. Okay. So you mentioned everybody in the Sprinter van. You didn't mention anybody from Arizona in the Sprinter van. So let's talk about the exodus.
Oh, we throw the locals in too.
Let's talk about the exodus from California.
Okay. So the exodus prior to this year, I mean, early COVID was straight up California, straight up. Then it really switched to all over. And then it kind of slowed down and it was locals again. Locals haven't been doing a lot of moving. Here's why. They locked in 2 and 3% rates. And now to double the value of their house is quadrupling their payment. And that's uncomfortable. So pretty much getting a listing meant finding an out-of-towner. And usually when you got a listing, it was because they were leaving town. So a lot of movement in and a lot of movement out, and not a lot of movement by the locals. That changed right around election time. Right around election time, we started to see the first movement of locals, which was exciting. This is 4 years that they've been strapped into probably like their first big home, and they want their forever home. Sure. So it's starting. It's not fast, but it's starting. Then the California fires happened, which is like the saddest thing, and the stories we're getting out of there, we're in like tears every day. It's like
did your phone start ringing?
Nonstop. Mostly the first calls were all the locals saying we should raise our prices. Movements do not happen like stocks overnight. I'm like, by the way,
let's all breathe for a second.
We have had 30 showings and no offers. raising your price is not your move right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are we thinking? Anyways, I do think the market's going to go up this year. I put my money where my mouth is, and I bought a house. I see the trend coming. The Californians are coming battered, bruised, and it's trauma. They
horrible.
went through the worst trauma they could ever go through. I'm like terrified of fires. When I was a kid, I used to have like nightmares of our house catching on fire. I would always wake up in the middle of the night and think the house was on fire. So I can't fathom this. But they're coming, having lost animals, having lost schools, it's like gut-wrenching stories. Yesterday was a big thing too. We had 3 clients who didn't lose their homes and they can't go back. They shut off their area. I've never heard of this. They cannot go back to their homes.
To their home that's standing.
Correct. They're in an area that has been shut off, and they didn't lose their home, and they're not allowed to go back. Obviously, Palisades is the saddest because they lost the schools, the community.
Everything.
Like, that was dream quintessential neighborhood. Like probably my favorite place to visit, honestly.
Will it ever be the same?
In 7 to 10 years, it'll be the best community that there's ever been. But it's going to cost triple what it did before, and it's going to take a lot of time. Here's the things people aren't factoring. We have clients who had 3 or 4 Teslas in their garage. Those batteries just melted into the ground. I mean, it is a cleanup site for a long time. And in between, while there's no homes, now we're getting rain, now we're getting mudslides. It's a disaster. It's a disaster that doesn't end. The looting is what I didn't like.
It's disgusting.
We had clients who lost homes in wealthy areas, and people were spray painting "You deserve this" on their homes. I can't.
It gives me chills. It's the worst thing.
You think. If there was a war in the U.S., I'd like to think the humanitarian effort would step up so hard. And I related a little bit to like Hurricane Katrina, but this was affecting not wealthy people.
Right.
But I felt like the world rallied around New Orleans. Like it was the worst thing that could ever happen, and everyone kind of came to help.
Yeah.
And I just feel like California is not getting that.
And California is it's so beautiful. I grew up. And it's changed, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And without saying, California has changed, but there's still
soul. Aaron Kerman, the top realtor actually in the United States and the top realtor for Christie's in California. He's kind of like our California constituent. Yesterday, he posted a home in Beverly Hills on 4 acres. 4 acres. Beautiful home, like crazy. 11 bedrooms, 4 acres, Beverly Hills. 17.9 million. I was like, it is cheaper in Beverly Hills than Arizona.
It is cheaper in Beverly Hills. And do you stand by that, Katrina? Like at being in your business, do you anticipate our market to be the hottest?
I do.
Within the next.
It's wild. Park City's higher than here.
Park City's higher.
It's higher. And Washington by far.
Really?
Yes, the islands. Medina.
Yeah.
Yeah. The islands off of Seattle are the highest real estate, and that's due to the tech money. I mean,
due to the tech money.
Atherton and the areas in California.
And that's in Bay Area.
Yeah, Bay Area. I mean, the tech money has really seen an influence.
But Bay Area is where I'm from, not in Atherton, but that's seen a shift too. I mean, it's still such a beautiful place to live, but California is becoming unlivable.
Washington and some of the pockets in Northern California are seeing 3,000 a foot though. We're not seeing it yet.
We're not seeing,
but we
will.
We will.
So really truly feel we will.
I actually think Crown Canyon is going to be the first to do it. I really do.
What's Crown Canyon?
Crown Canyon is off of Lincoln and a little private pocket off of 40th. It is all bedrock homes.
Yep.
They use the best in design, Mara Green. They use the best in architecture with Bubeck design, and they've got 12 plots. 7 are still available. They're just modern, cool
and you think
hillside.
That's what's going to.
It's been iterations for them to be able to sell, but eventually it's kind of like Camaldale or Optima, for instance.
Optima, yeah.
Optima launched high, then fell like you've never seen the bottom drop out. People bought $1 million condos that went to 230, no joke, 230 during the recession.
Okay.
And now they're 2 million. like this quickly after. So I see Crown Canyon as kind of a bright spot. I also see there are more buyers for $25 to $40 million homes than homes that exist. My pockets are full of buyers for the upper end, and it doesn't exist. Why? It is too scary to do a spec at that level. It is. That is too much money. Like, I don't know if funds should start building the highest end homes, but in a weird way, they're easier to sell than the lower end.
Right.
Like, it's wild. People want what they want, and I guess
So we're not hurting for buyers around
the
here.
fear is determining what someone at that level wants. Because generally when someone builds for themselves, it's not what everyone else wants. So it's difficult to sell. So Crown Canyon is the highest end specs that are going in the valley right now.
I mean, I know that your phone is texting and ringing off the hook and emails, and people are always asking you questions because they turn to you, they trust you, they know you're leading the market, leading the state. What are people asking? Like, what are the common questions people ask you, and what are the answers?
Yeah, so the California flood. Right now, it's still a Washington flood. Most of our big buyers, and in fact, to the tune of 80%, are from Washington.
Wow.
80%. And it's because in Washington, they have an older home. It's on water. We don't have water. I don't know if people have noticed.
We don't
in
have
Arizona.
water.
We don't have an ocean. So this 2,000 a foot is wild, but it's happening. So they're coming here and they get more land. They get more. When you're coming from California, you're upset now. You're not really getting more, and you're getting worse weather, and you're not getting. I would argue you're getting a great community, though.
Yeah.
You're getting a very friendly, non-litigious community.
Right.
So, and with very little crime. I mean,
Sure.
PV police are on it.
Yes,
like,
they are.
That is something we have really good here. Is really low crime
Sure.
comparably to other, high-end places. So we're lucky on that. But yeah. So the question is really, are the Californians flooding? Here's a little statistic. As of this morning, 208 active listings in Paradise Valley. 13,000 homes over 10 million burned down in California. 13,000. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Will there be 200 buyers here? There will be thousands of buyers
So
here.
where are they going? Is that when you're talking about then the Scottsdale, Arcadia, all the surrounding? And you think they will?
They'll come here.
They're coming.
So it's just early. It's
just
early in the
early.
move. They're
Plus,
hanging.
they also have to breathe.
They're hanging on to the dream, which was the best community. Literally, I'm not debating.
Right.
Palisades was better than Arcadia, but it doesn't exist, and Arcadia is a very good option for families and friendliness and community and I would live in a shoebox in Arcadia over anywhere else because when I get home, I have to source my kids from the neighbors' homes. And that is what childhood is. It's living in your neighbors' homes and loving all the parents. And it's a community raising your kids together. And
It is a community.
Everyone knows I need that the most. So I'm so grateful for that. That
It takes a village. I mean, and to mimic what you said, you said you live in a shoebox in Arcadia. I grew up in Los Gatos, which is a suburb of San Jose in Silicon Valley. And I remember back then, the first cottage went for $1 million. Now that cottage is probably $10 million, but that's neither here nor there. After my parents got divorced, we lived in apartments. We lived in teeny tiny apartments because it was all about location and community. Location, and community. You take that shoebox because of what you have around you. Let's talk about what you have around you. You have 3 kids. You are a wife. You are a human. You are a person. How the hell do you balance it all? I hate when people ask me that question because my answer is, I just do. I just figure it out. But there has to be something.
My answer might be, I just don't.
But you are.
No, I
How?
Shout out to Carrie Turbo, my wife. No, truly. Carrie and I together are one mom, and I've been really falling in my momming duties in that partnership. No, I rely so much.
She's not really Katrina's wife.
No. But I rely so much on other moms, and they are so great to me, and I don't even know why they're so great to me, but they are.
Because you're a great
We
person.
have wonderful children.
Yes,
our
you
kids
do.
are so well behaved and so adjusted to not having a mom around a lot. And
10 o'clock last week, every night. That's when you were home.
This whole year.
This whole year.
It's so sad.
when are you seeing
It's so sad. I tried on Saturday to see a game, and of course, a showing came up, and now that showing decided they maybe don't even want to sell their house. And I'm like, why are we doing the showing? Like, I'm so upset. Why are we doing the showing? Like, I missed the one game that I planned for all week, and it was a demand that I was there, not someone else. And it's hurtful. It's painful. Like, please value my time the way that I give all of my time, to someone else. So, yeah, that part hurts. I need more kid time. I know that I get it in the summer, so it's really just.
So is summer you do take a moment?
I do two big vacations a year because I think that's healthy. Christmas to New Year's is one, absolutely, because that's.
Where did you go?
At Costa Rica.
I love Costa Rica. Where did you go?
A little bit of a jumble this year. Within the first 48 hours, King cracked his head open, Will broke his arm, and
oh my gosh,
Drew put his teeth through his lip. So
wait, no,
we were off to a rough start. My other two were fine, but Carrie's two went down, King went down.
No,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
it was rough. And then a lot of the family was sick, so it was like just me and Turbo with these beaten kids. Like it was
happy vacation. There goes one vacation.
Yeah, that was.
And then in summer you get away.
And then in summer around 4th of July is again really slow. When clients are really traveling and doing their own thing is the best time for me to take a breather. Like also no one's sad if on Christmas Day.
Sure.
The annoying thing is real big business people, that's the only day they have off. So I did get a zillion phone calls. But it was from a tropical location, so I'll take it.
Yeah, it was from a tropical location.
I signed up for it. A new office, that's fine. That's a good day to phone call, actually. Okay. It's not a bad thing. So, but yeah, I like Haley the other day was asking something about like, what's the best gift or what I was like, on my birthday, I'm going to give you my phone for the day. Like that would be
and will that be hard?
It won't happen.
It won't. I was going to say, I don't really see that happening.
It literally can't.
Yeah, I do think, and we love to travel. My family and I travel a lot, but it isn't because, we love to travel, but really I've realized that the reason why I especially love to travel is because I am more present. At home, if I'm not working, I'm doing the laundry or I'm packing a lunch or I'm doing this. It doesn't stop ever.
Right.
At least when you're away, you're just more there.
I had like a very real conversation with someone around the end of the year, and they probed like, what makes you happy? And they were like, what ultimately that answer for a lot of people is like, go back to what made you happy as your 16-year-old self, which is not a wrong answer. So that's been now
I'm going to think about 16.
No, that's been like a mantra of 2025 is like, make sure, once a week you get in a fun thing of 16-year-old self. Like I love wake surfing, certainly haven't done that, but like
we're not doing that here.
Like bike riding is actually with my kids, like probably my favorite thing right now. They're bike riding. That's fun. I used to love to bike ride. Like that's our thing. But to your point of you're not present, I'll go on a bike ride and I come back almost in tears because the entire time is some client talking about their marketing or like, I'm like, I can't even take a 30-minute bike ride with my kids. And that's.
So are you going to break? I know that's
we're going to figure this out better. I have the best help I could ever possibly have in my life right now. So I actually think the fault is on me, and it's better training clients of expectations. Like I'm going to crack if I keep going at this.
And you know
rate.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
You do know that.
Yes.
And I think that's a hard thing to know when, again, it's inside of you and you also love what you do.
I do. Like the new deal, seeing a new house I haven't seen in Arcadia, that is the drug. Like it's
it is
it's
the drug.
Christmas morning.
It's the high.
To go in a house I haven't seen
it's your high.
Is amazing. Like I get so excited. And honestly, all the cool designers out there right now.
They're so cool. And they're all so different.
Smith House, Yvonne Fig, like all these people just pushing the envelope on design. It's amazing.
What's trending?
Renda Group, I feel like, is about to come out with the best build in Arizona on Exeter. Like they took the Ashton Kutcher house in Napa and are kind of recreating in even a cooler version here. I'm seeing so much Mediterranean and European inspo coming back. It's funny. It's like not a Tuscan. It's like a New Age French. But it's super cool. Lots of textures, lots of modern, organic, like natural. Like give me the stones and the rocks and the rock fountains are really
It's interesting how it goes in waves, and it always comes back. We haven't remodeled our house. Now I'm thinking, do we even do it? Because
oh my God,
it's so outdated.
My house took 3 years, and it was so in 3 years ago. And by the time it finished, I was like, I hate it. Start over.
I don't ever want to see gray. But it always comes back. But I feel like what they're bringing back now is very timeless.
Agree.
Actually.
I think they're realizing that these kind of flavor of the month remodels
doesn't work.
And as everyone calls them, like the boxes, like the new build boxes,
doesn't work.
Are dying a little bit because you take clients, especially from out of town, they see 5 of the same revamped floor plan and then one that looks different, and what do they buy?
Sure.
The one that looks different.
Right.
So it's like the pioneers pushing design. I mean, it's really cool. Yeah. Jamie Rose, like there's just Arizona's got fabulous designers. I have a listing right now, Michelle Young. I had never heard of her.
Will the Ritz-Carlton ever be done?
She did amazing. Ritz-Carlton.
If you don't know, we've been watching the Ritz-Carlton be built for like how many years?
You want my theory?
Yeah,
it'll get done in a recession.
Interesting.
Because it'll default again, and then labor will be available, and it'll actually get built.
But what does Arizona not have? I mean, the summers suck, but besides that, between spring training and Barrett-Jackson and all the things, the beautiful seasons other than summer.
Do you know what Arizona has the best of?
What?
When I travel, I realize this. Restaurants.
We have everything.
We are the restaurateur
I know.
capital. Literally.
Everything is here.
I don't think there's better food anywhere.
I agree with you.
Anywhere.
I do agree.
Literally. Like, and cool concepts. Like Hot Chick, Eden, like all these.
And all the chefs are from Food Network. They're 100%. All here.
Like, you can go to a Michelin star restaurant in Flagstaff. What is happening?
Really?
Yes.
What's your speaking of Flagstaff and like Pine Top, are you selling a lot of there still?
Yes. Pine Canyon, not Pine
Canyon.
Top.
Not Pine Top.
Not Pine Top. No. Tucson really goes to Pine Top and Show Low. I grew up just loving going there.
Right.
And more money is traveling to Flagstaff. It's a bigger city. There's more things to do. You can go to a concert. You can go to Target.
And the college is beautiful.
I am personally still a sucker for Pine Top. I love going to the same BJ's Pizzas that
What's the one bar? Or the one restaurant?
There is literally only one restaurant. One. Big Bear for breakfast and the Mexican restaurant is the spot.
Right. It's a special place. My husband enjoys snowboarding there better than Flag because it's just
I think for sure the ski is better in Pine Top, but I think
there's more of a community feel in Flag.
There's a ritzy community. So if you have a $20 million home down here, you're not going to buy in Pine Top. You're going to buy in Flagstaff.
And then what about best advice you ever got and from who?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to a story that I was about to start saying. You were asking something about like who is a leader, what worked, whatever. You know what you learn the most from is what doesn't work. So actually, this merger didn't really work at the beginning, and I learned the most from that because it failed. It didn't work.
But did it work in the long run?
We learn more from what didn't work than what worked. I am so trusting. I gave up partnership roles. Do
you regret it?
I don't now because I learned so much. When something just works, you don't reflect. So actually, for something to fail and flop, look, we turned it into the biggest win ever. But it's because it really didn't work. And now, like the Christie's thing worked. I just wasn't working it. You have to work it for it to work. But also just, what doesn't work and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That whole statement is like totally the same. And what motivates me or who's a role model or who's like best advice, I just love seeing other people like start an idea and follow through and make it
yes,
amazing.
You do.
Like, we both know this girl, Ellie.
Yeah.
I look at her and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
this is so,
Well, you introduced me to her.
I'm like, this is so dangerous, but oh my God, like, you're an amazing businesswoman. Like,
She is.
crank it, girl. For those who don't know who she is, Millen Habs, like,
Right.
it's not a slap a ribbon on a hat.
No,
it's you pick your pelt.
Yes.
She makes it by hand. She dyes it.
And it's real. Like, it's a real hat. Like, it's not.
One, it's an incredible business idea.
Yeah.
But two, she's amazing.
She's
And it's
amazing.
like every great business has a great person in it. And you feel her passion and energy and everything else. And she's about to kind of expand to other cities. And just like watching anyone's like new business that wasn't handed to them and them succeed is like what drives me the most.
Yeah.
And a lot of women entrepreneurs reach out to me for advice.
Yes. And what's the advice they ask?
Oh, I have the best, the advice I tell everyone every time, and they don't want to hear it. They're all at a stage of taking investors or taking a loan, and I tell them don't do it.
Don't do it.
And they don't want to hear that.
Why?
Because to grow organically from your money is the only way to grow. Yeah.
Interesting advice.
It is easy to spend someone else's money. It is really hard to spend your own money. And if you're only spending your own money, you'll spend it on the right things.
Yes.
And
you're right.
no one wants to hear that.
And you.
Because they want to grow faster.
And you
but
truly
growing
invested in yourself.
faster is not growing the right way.
Growing faster is not going the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known each other for a long time. And our paths just have always continued to cross. And when I took over a magazine, it needed a lot of love. It did. It needed a lot of love. And so I needed support. So I you took my text, you took my call, and I sat in your office.
Really, watching you has been an inspiration.
Oh, stop.
No,
But,
no, truly.
No, but
because I can't go anywhere that people don't know you.
No, well, it's mutual but I want whoever's listening to know I walked in knowing you would support me.
100.
And to know that from someone who is extremely successful, like what you've built on your own, and really how authentically you say it is, I've learned from my failures. But for me to know walking in that someone like you would support me, knowing that you were coming in at an early time where I had to grow something, I will never, ever forget that
You're so sweet.
But I'll never forget that feeling.
If I say yes to a meeting, I'm already saying yes. So, yeah.
Well, don't
The
say
meeting's
yes.
the harder
Don't
part.
say yes so easy. And I mean that so genuinely and sincerely. What is next for you as a person, not you as a business? What is your goal this year? Is it to say no more? Maybe no to the Saturday listening to make it to the football game?
Yes and no. Like, I'm really enjoying the busy phase. Like, I thrive off of it. I love it. The only thing that hurts me is I'm such a people pleaser. Like, it's never about the money. So when someone's upset, it just like it crushes my soul. Like I can't sleep, and I'm just like, how do I fix this? And
you're already not sleeping anyway.
Correct, but it's like I replay it in my brain, and I'm like, how do I make this person happy? Like it hurts me so much when someone's not happy with me.
So you take it personal.
Yes.
How? What? You have to have the thicker skin.
I know, but I think that's some of
what's worked.
Some of what works is that I do care. Like I give a care about the result for the client. And I just feel like sometimes, like if I'm not vocalizing the actions enough, like this is a problem, this is what we're going to fix this year, is like them knowing what we're doing. And that needs to be coming from another source. So I just up to employees to like be like, hey, we're going to keep an Excel. Every listing, every week, we're doing something. Let's send them the Excel, because that might avoid a phone call, and then they know we're doing work. And it's like everyone wants you to sell the most. Everyone wants you to have all these listings to cast the wider net, but then they also want all of the time, all of the attention, and the lowest fee. Like, it's impossible. Sure. It is impossible. One of these areas has to give. And I would like to keep everything in the regime, but give less phone time. Like if I
give less phone time. That's a
correct.
good, and that's a doable goal. I feel.
Yes.
And plus, people need to understand, as you said, if you're not on the phone, you're working. Like, stop wasting the time.
And I think I multiplied once I gave less agent time. I freaking love my agents.
Yeah, you love your agents.
But I also will respond to them in 1 second flat in a text, and I feel like we've had a breakthrough there, and everyone's happier.
Everyone's happy.
I need to throw more meetings. That is a critique on me. This year, I just haven't been able to breathe, so we haven't been doing meetings. But literally, everyone's put their head down, and they're rocking. Like, that's a big motivator, too.
Sure.
Seeing our own agents freaking take off, I'm like, wow. Like, when I see an escrow come in and it's like a 7, I'm like, they did it. They did it. It's insane. Yeah.
Are you tired?
Always. Always and
Do
never.
you sleep?
Always and never.
Yeah.
Always tired and never tired.
Yeah,
Like,
I get it.
yeah. My brain races a lot. We're doing sober Q1 right now, which I think it's funny that kind of compounds though, the never.
Yeah.
Like, feel like maybe if you have
If there was a drink of choice, what would it be right now?
No,
what are you feeling?
I mean, no, I only really drink Coors Light. Which
Just
is
Coors Light?
Funny.
Okay.
It used to be Mexican beers, and then I don't know, my stomach.
And
got
what's on
more
your playlist
sensitive.
when you wake up at 5 in the morning? To
Oh
work
yeah,
out?
Post Malone. Yeah,
Malone.
I'm a big Post Malone. I don't love his country phase as much, although I'm loving Shabuzi lately too.
okay.
I'm not such a sellout. Like I'm like a 10-year-old girl. I don't know.
And do you love being a boy mom?
I love music though.
You
love
do. I know
music.
you do. Yeah.
And my son is like super into being a DJ, and I'm loving
Really?
watching that. My 7-year-old. Yeah.
So how did you get, like, I mean, what's a DJ now? Is it on a computer? Like, did you get him a whole mix? Like,
He has whole lessons, and he's got his turntables, and
that's
is,
so awesome.
yeah, he's insane. He sleeps in his marshmallow suit, and he calls himself DJ S'mores.
Wait, I
and-
love it.
Yeah,
I
just
love it. I'll hire him.
just love that. Like as a kid, I like had so much drive for like anything that I would put my mind to. I would like just
do it.
and I feel like he's the one that
He's your one.
He's got the drive. Like man, he is just yeah.
Well, I'm like you with the 3 boys, and my 3 boys are very, very, very different.
Yes,
And yours are too.
very. My oldest is not a categorically oldest mentality. My second actually is like competitive and
Okay. Yep. Same with
straight A's and everything needs to be perfect and clean and like
Yeah.
my oldest is just a teddy bear and like the nicest
Yes.
person. Like if you're gonna marry one of them, he's the
one.
choice.
He's the gem.
Yes, but he's not like the most driven or the It's funny.
What about, I mean, if you are local and living in Arizona, and if you do, you're not happy where you're living, or if you want to upgrade, is now a good time to buy?
I would say in Arizona, just wait. Like we're going up 20, 25%. If you are a local debating when to get off the bench, it's now.
Even
it's ahead of.
and what about interest
Everyone
rates?
gets off the
what
bench.
What about the rates?
Everyone gets off the bench when things start moving. Do it before.
Do it before.
Buy when no one's buying. Not that people are not buying, but it is. Once we get under 100 active listings in PV, it is a shit show. Like things just fly off the market. I'll tell a story that people don't even believe, and it was dead true. And the realtors on the other side are probably laughing if they're hearing anything because I don't know where this goes to.
It's going everywhere, Katrina. When you're with me, we go big. We're going national.
Okay.
No, it does stream
Yikes,
everywhere.
Yikes. Would have got my hair done.
No.
Okay. No. During the pandemic, when we got to like the hype, which was kind of middle of 2022, I had a very recognizable car at the time. It was like a 2-tone Discovery Jeep looking thing. And I was parked out in front of a listing appointment. And before I even left the listing appointment, I had an offer in my inbox and they ended up buying it. Then it happened again a month later. 2 times during the pandemic. Someone wrote me an offer just by seeing my recognizable car and being like, that's it. That's the house.
Why?
Because there were so few homes, and that's what's going to happen again. That is, we're going to return to that market when the Californians move here, and they will. They will move here.
And should interest rates scare anybody?
No, because they will go down eventually, although it's an interesting time right now where they keep saying they're lowering rates and they're actually going up. So I feel the pain of the locals being like, what the hell is going on?
What do we do?
Fed's coming out and telling me they're lowering rates, and I call my mortgage broker and it's higher again.
So is it going
I
to go
actually
down?
really feel for mortgage brokers right now.
Yeah.
They're in a little bit of a dry spell because it's not the most opportune rate time. Cash is king right now, so if you are a cash buyer, get off the bench. Get off the bench because when rates are lower, lights that fire again.
So that's your advice.
That is my advice. Marry the house, date the rate, something like that. Yeah.
How do you define success?
Being self-fulfilled.
And are you?
Getting there. Yeah. It's a process. Everything, I feel like nothing comes overnight, and everything worth having takes time and effort. And like anything that's instant gratification can be lost. Like if you are an overnight success, you can lose it all.
In a moment.
Yeah.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes and no. I'm going to critique my parenting a lot. I got to be more present. That was a big 2025 goal, and I couldn't be falling down on that more, literally.
But I do feel, on the other hand, they see mom work.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a good example to show your
becoming
children.
better cooks.
Right. I don't cook. I don't like it.
I love cooking.
Wow.
I love cooking. I just, it's the reality of time right now. Like I feel so guilty.
I was going to just ask you that.
Doing anything but working. And the only reason I work out at 5 a.m. is because if my phone can be ringing, I can't enjoy the workout, literally. Yeah. And because if it's ringing, then I should be on the phone. And it's like something I got to let go.
But is this hour
you know what?
Sitting next to me giving you anxiety to check your phone?
No, this is working too.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, like time. Like I don't know, there's only so many hours and there's only so much time you're going to do this. You can't do it part-time. I might have 5 years left. Like,
what are you doing after 5 years? Where are you going?
I don't know, but you can't do this forever.
Where are you going to go? You're not going.
I don't know. Once you have capital, then it opens up avenues to do lots of things. I don't know.
Where is Katrina in 5 years then?
That is a good question. I don't know. In the short term, I'd like to go national a bit more because the world is so small. The same circles run with the same circles.
Absolutely.
I cannot tell you how many times I've been in Dallas and they know all
I was just
going to
say, besides Arizona, where are the hot markets?
I would say Dallas, North Carolina. Park City is on freaking fire. Yeah. They have really low inventory. It's
my favorite place to go in the summer.
Colorado's actually a little slow right now. We have a lot of clients with ski houses up. I think there's a movement to Utah.
Sure.
I think there's a movement of not drinking, and that is compounding Utah. It's a whole sober, curious movement in the United States, and especially on the West Coast. Yeah. So interesting. I think that's compounding itself. I see a lot of Idaho. I personally would like to buy in Montana.
Where in Whitefish?
The new Discovery. I'm all about it.
Where's that?
I've been wanting to buy an Eldo like my whole life, and but I feel like I'm like late to that party.
You do realize Montana has winter because I went in the summer and I'm like I want to live here, and I came to realize that it probably wouldn't do well for my blood.
So I look at my life, and really the only travel I get is in the summer.
So it's perfect. Yeah.
So Eldo is 99 degrees in the summer in Cabo. Yeah. So really, I'm reevaluating that and realizing and admitting, I can really only go in the summer.
Sure.
For the short term, I'm going to focus on Park City because that's where my clients want to be, and I really liked it. This summer, we went to like a sober rodeo with this cute little family that we're friends with who are kind of like hometown heroes. And we just had the best time.
I think I've been going to Park City in the summers for the past 3 or 4 years. They have the Deer Valley. They do the summer concert series. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Up there.
I love it.
Didn't
think I would love a rodeo, and I did.
I love a rodeo.
And some young gun broke some like national record on his ride, and that was
were there to witness it.
And it was being replayed all over the news, and I was like, I saw that. I saw that on Instagram
to make it real.
I'm such an animal lover that the ball thing is tough, but you just can't think about it, I guess.
Yes. Is there anything else you want to add?
No,
that we didn't cover.
Should
we keep going, or do you have an appointment?
I'm kidding. I think it's time. Do you have more things?
I mean, I can keep going forever, but I think that this was awesome. Yeah. I love you like a friend. I love you as a friend. I love you.
Like a friend.
No, okay, rewind. I love you as a friend, but I also love you as a business owner. I think what you do is just amazing.
I did a podcast last week. I was telling you, it's like a very emotional one. And I think when I left, they were like, she's kind of a weakling. Like, we didn't expect.
Well, I'm pissed because she comes in, she goes, I did a podcast last week and they made me cry. And I said, well, I would love to make you cry today.
I almost cried on the kid thing.
What did they ask you to make you cry?
No, it was more like childhood stuff and just,
Do you have any childhood stuff?
Not really, not huge. Like, I don't know. Everyone's got stuff.
What's something that people don't
That's
know
what
about
makes
you?
them. That's what
Yes.
makes them who they are today. I had a great childhood, for the record.
I know we're
Came
not
out
alluding to
Yeah,
anything.
that came out very wrong.
Yes,
but
is there a moment from your childhood that sticks out that you think helped form who you are today, or do you just go back to swimming?
yeah, no, I was kind of commenting there more on. I didn't really realize until I was an adult that I did have a little bit of a, like, my parents are wonderful humans, but they like give to the earth and are so sweet and wanted the smallest eco footprint ever. So like use clothing, reusing like a jar, like any little scrap that was like.
That's how you grew up.
Correct. And I think that makes you motivated. And I'm
Sure.
not imparting that very well on my kids, other than I don't like things to go to waste. I really don't.
Okay,
Like,
good.
Yeah. Like I don't like doing a huge grocery shop and then I don't cook it and then a cow died for no reason.
Right.
Like that hurts my heart.
I know you're very sensitive. I know. Where can people find more about you? Follow you?
Do follow Instagram, katrina.a.barrett. That's a terrible Instagram, but it was law prop because I didn't even start my own Instagram, and that was my AOL email. And my friend Amy Futerer, who's now Graywit, launched my Instagram for me, and I didn't know how to log in for 10 years. And now I'm going crazy, actually, because I handed over Instagram to other people, and I followed like 300 people, and I felt good about that. They're real people, and I liked getting real followers. And now they're trying to crank things up, and I see them accepting people all the time, and I'm like, who the hell are these people? I'm not following them. I don't know them.
I don't know them.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird. Social media is weird, but you do have an awesome feed, and you take people also inside amazing houses.
And I think what people are biting on the most, I'm about to launch them today or tomorrow, the stats. I'm such a math and stats person, and people are hanging on every word for the stats of the week. What moved?
Give me a stat today.
So far, year to date, 7.5 to 20 million range. There have been 6 to go under. 6. We've done 4 of them. That's pretty good.
You're going to have a wonderful
Last
year.
week, there were 0. Is that crazy? In 2025, 0 homes had gone under this year from 7.5 to 20, but we turn that around. I made a post last Monday. Now starts high season. It wasn't wrong. It's right. Usually we pick up pretty drastically right after the open. Everyone always anticipates the open's going to be like the biggest. All the rental managers are telling me that they are like dead this year, though, which is shocking to me.
Especially heading into spring training.
They doubled the price of the open, I do believe.
Yes.
And that's helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it got a little crazy
last year was a little interesting. I blamed the rain and the beer. And
I was on some accidental Thunderbird text that was talking of 47 accosted for fornicating in the freezing rain last year. Apparently, if it rains at the open, people have sex in public.
And did you
shocking?
And they're like peeing in like there was a lot of it happening.
I don't know why rain brings out the worst in people.
Rain and golf. I don't know. I mean, people go to not watch the golf, so
I didn't even want to I can't imagine pulling down your pants in public in that weather. I didn't.
Oh, there's
leave,
videos.
I didn't want to leave the tent.
I know it was freezing, but yes, the Open, they do a great job. We're not hating on the Open. We love the Open.
Love the Open.
We love the Open.
I love it for 2 days a year.
Yeah.
It takes me the rest of the year to recover to want to do it again.
It's literally a party. Golf comes secondary to the whole event, I feel.
I think it's kind of the least credit for the most money you can spend on clients too. So I'm going to evaluate next year. But I do like to support the Thunderbirds. So
I love that. Yeah,
it's a deep debate. I went very big this year on the entertaining, but I always feel like people somehow think you get the tickets. No, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars. The biggest spend of the year, and I think you don't get a lot of credit. And when people no-show and you bought them a $1,600 ticket, they're dead to me. I get so frustrated. And it's so much work to organize going to every event. I don't know why I do it every year. I'm vocalizing. People would way rather go to floor seats of the Suns. Me included.
I love the Suns. I'm obsessed.
Biggest Suns fan.
Okay, who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite?
Favorite player?
I got to say Brad Beal right now just because we love his family.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Katrina's friends with a lot of them. And then Katrina's all over the media as well. She's been on magazine covers, and you're always doing interviews. So I really appreciate you taking the
Yeah,
time to do this today.
Thank you.
Adore you, appreciate you. Again, Instagram, Katrina.A.Barrett. And you can follow us at Nadine Bubeck. I did get mine, Nadine Bubeck, without the dot.
Amazing.
I know.
I don't know who I got to kill out there.
I
but-
actually just switched my handle. So I was lucky I could. But you know what you need to do is get your kids' names.
Oh, interesting. They launched their own.
Okay, so they do have, but and not to,
Apparently DJ S'mores with 3 Z's was not taken, so we were good.
DJ
Polar
S'mores
bear,
54321.
s'mores.
But no, you should get your kids all the email addresses and the Instagram, even if you don't have them be active, so no one else takes them. But there's my advice for the day. But thank you, Katrina. I love you.
Thank you.
You're awesome. You can visit us at Nadine Bubeck, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Now with Nadine. Produced at Star Worldwide Networks.